In this video, I want to go over the absolute basics of learning how to crochet. This video is for someone who does not know how to crochet anything at all. You've picked up a hook, but you haven't made stitches yet. You don't know what yarn tension is, all of that. Maybe don't even know how to pick out a hook. I'm going to go over these absolute basics. And this video is connected to a post that I wrote about 10 meditative and relaxing hobbies. I want to introduce people who maybe have an anxious mind. Maybe they want to keep their hands busy in the evening so they're not snacking during TV. I know some people take up knit and crochet when they're grieving. Maybe you've just had a baby or you're pregnant and you're not able to do a whole lot and you want something to do. There's a multitude of reasons people get into the fiber arts. I like it because it's very creative. So I want to talk to you about the first things you'll need to know: how to pick out yarn, how to pick your first crochet needle, and yarn tension. So I have many hooks here because I do a huge amount of crochet. And I'm going to recommend your first needle or your first hook, I'm not going to talk about knitting, is pretty basic size. So something in the 5mm, 5.5mm, or 6mm hook will be great for you. Now what the hook is made out of will also matter when you're learning. So this is a metal hook with a comfortable ergonomic grip. This is a great hook for a first timer. A plastic hook I would not recommend because the yarn is very slippery on this type of hook, and it's going to be hard for you to control your yarn when you're first learning. So a metal hook, even a wood hook, would be nice because the yarn won't get too out of your control with that. Now this type of hook, you may know, maybe an older relative of yours used these. I have trouble controlling these because of the grip, and also I'm a tall woman. I have very long fingers and hands, but you may like that. And when you're in the store, feel them. How does it feel? There's two ways to hold a hook. Some people hold it like a knife. Some people hold it like a pencil, and you'll figure out which way works best for you. But when you're buying your hook, feel it in both these positions, like a pencil and like a knife, and what feels better in your hand. All right, so I'm going to stick with this one while I talk to you about yarn. In the image I have on the screen, you can see the numbers 1 through 10, and I have a range of colors on there. And that's because stitches are more difficult to see on the very light and very dark yarns, and it can be hard on your eyes. So while you're learning, I want to encourage you to eliminate any possible challenges that you can until you get your technique correct. So pick yarns that are in that 3 to 7 color range, and pick a color that's easy on your eyes. Even a bright red can be a little bit difficult. So I have these kind of relaxing, easy colors here. From the tan, mustard yellow, a soft spa blue, blush pink, nice spring green, and a medium rose color. I'm going to use the green and talk to you a little bit about what you're probably, I don't know if this is true for everyone, but learning your yarn tension can be a challenge. And that's the first thing I will want you to master. Even if you never make anything and you just use your crochet to go back and forth, making the same square or rectangle over and over, it's perfectly fine. Now also the thickness of the yarn you get is going to matter as well. I encourage you to get just a standard soft feeling acrylic, and it's going to say category 4 on the back. This likely will be the most common yarn you use whenever you crochet for the rest of your life, however long you want to crochet. Let me get a skein and show you how to identify what category of yarn you're buying. All right, so this is a fresh skein of yarn, and when you turn it to the back, there's a label back here that has all kinds of information. And for this purpose, we're only going to be looking here. There will be a picture of yarn and it will have a number in it. And this number 4 is the midway yarn. Now some yarns can split due to the way they're woven, and that can make it more challenging to work with. But if you get just a regular category 4 acrylic and something that feels nice in your hand because it's going to be running through your fingers, you want it to feel soft to make this a pleasant experience. And this will be too dark for you, but I wanted to use it just to show you the label that I have intact. So when you get your yarn, you can either pull it from the outside. There's going to be a loose tail. This will make the ball kind of roll around and be a little bit annoying. Or you can dig into the middle, fish around, and find a starting tail. And that way it feeds from the inside and your ball will stay stable while you work. It doesn't really matter, but just again, to eliminate the problems you might have, I would suggest pulling your yarn from the center of the skein. Now I keep my yarn to my left because that's how I'm feeding it with my hand. So let me show you this again. I made a slip knot. You will always begin with a slip knot. So turn your yarn, pull that tail through and pull up. And that's somewhere that the hook can begin to grab the yarn. You'll put your hook through there. And the hook sizes I recommended, the 5, 5.5, or 6 millimeter, work really well with the category 4 yarn. And I'll show you on the back of your yarn again, something else you can read. There's a picture of a crochet hook and it's going to tell you which one is best for the yarn you're using. This one says 6.5 millimeter because this is a thick category 4 yarn, but this hook will still work with it for your practicing purposes. Right, so now I have my hook on, or the yarn on the hook. And you see what I just did? Wrapping it in my fingers. This is what you're going to need to master early on before you continue on to making something specific. Your stitches are not going to look perfect at first, and don't get too frustrated because it's going to take a little trial and error. So when you're holding your yarn, you might kind of feel you've got to find a way to keep this from being loosey-goosey so that you can pull a wrap around and pull through that loop. That's how you create a stitch. Start to thread the yarn through 2 fingers. Some people do it through 3. They wrap the pinky first. Just begin to play around with how you can get some tension so that the yarn easily flows through your fingers, but not too easily. And you've got to just find your own way because for each crocheter it's different. So that's the first thing I would recommend you start practicing. Then you can hold your strand. This will stabilize it. So you yarn over, put your hook under, grab the loop, and pull it through. Go under, grab a loop, see how it's looped over, and pull that hook through. That hook will be facing down as you pull your stitch through. And this repetitive motion is what people find to be relaxing. Got it wrapped through my fingers. This isn't normally how I hold it, but I'm trying to do some different ways to give you some ideas of how to do it. Maybe your pinky, forefinger, wrap. But if you wrap too much, the yarn will not easily feed through. So you don't keep a tight grip while you're doing this. Just little by little, pump your fingers, kind of like a spinning wheel. And just keep chaining. Go under, pull through. Under, grab a loop, and pull through. or just chaining. So as you work making chains, continue to do this until you've got even looking chains. That's how you'll know you have your tension going in the right direction. And they easily pull out so you can start again. So don't worry about it having to be perfect. You can always pull apart your crochet project. Same with your knitting. Pull through. And if you do this diligently, you can probably get your tension right in a day or two once you start figuring out how it threads through your fingers. And it'll soon become second nature. So we want soft yarn going in between our fingers to make this a good experience. We want a color that's easy to see, the stitches, and a comfortable hook. Those are your very basics getting started with crochet. All right, leave me a comment if you're finding this helpful or what you're still having challenges with. I'm happy to teach you some more before moving on to the next steps. Thanks for watching.